As the chapter of 2023 closes, it's a great time to reflect on the journey, not only through the year, but through life as a whole. Sometimes it's easy to forget how much changes from when you're a kid to an adult. But if there's one thing I've learnt this year, it's the decision you're afraid to make is the one that could change your life. In September 2022, I made the big decision to pack up and sell anything that I wouldn't need. I set off to travel and experience the world. I began my journey by exploring some beautiful destinations, starting with Milan in Italy, with no return ticket home, and had some of the most memorable experiences creating content, hiking in nature, drinking wine, and meeting and celebrating with some friends along the way. The reason I'm sharing this is because I learnt the true importance of how amazing it is when you step out of your comfort zone and follow your heart. I ended my 2 months of travels around Europe by heading to Iceland and driving the ring road for just over a week. This was an even bigger step for me for stepping out of my comfort zone. It's no lie when I say that the thought of driving in a different country for the first time was making me nervous. But one thing that made me push through and commit to the journey was the reward of seeing this beautiful country, waking up early every morning to experience the most of that day. It wasn't until my 4th day that I realised I was worrying for no reason. It was actually exciting to be going out and doing something like this. Believe you can do it, and you're already halfway there. I took my first flight out of Europe and headed to Canada, where I met my good friend Jess. We spent a couple of weeks in Vancouver, where we went around to some of the most incredible locations that were perfect for taking photos. The journey was far from over. It was finally time to move to the other side of the world. We made our flight to Bali in Indonesia, and I ended up spending 5 incredible months exploring around this island. It was during this time, in Bali, that I gave myself a rule to follow. Say yes to opportunities. Because of following this, I was able to make lifelong friends on the island, connect with the locals of Bali,
Yo, I'm good. What was your name? This is Mira. She, thank you.
going on spontaneous day trips, for sunrise adventures, and going into the depths of jungles.
Pathways are getting more muddy, but yeah, still a bit slippery. But
She has guided us through all the waterfalls.
I also spent a lot of time immersing myself in the culture, as well as learning little bits of their language.
dua ayah and satu beng.
This brings me on to the next lesson that I learnt while travelling. Trust the process and trust yourself. One place I was hoping to visit while I was in Bali was the island of Lombok. I wasn't too sure if I was going to find a way to make it happen or not, but something was telling me that I'd be able to find a way. Fortunately, I managed to secure a hotel collaboration on the island. I also collaborated with a boat company to take us to the island and back in exchange for drone content. This trip and the memories that came with it would have never have happened if I didn't find a way to think outside the box. Remember why you started your journey. From just a young age, I was inspired by my granddad, who was very creative. and I'll always cherish the memories I had with him while he was alive. I didn't have the chance to share this passion with him as he died when I was young, but part of why I do what I do today is because of him. Every journey begins with a single step. Kuala Lumpur was my home for the next couple of months. It was a very fun and unforgettable experience. It was a coincidence that I happened to be here during the time of Ramadan. But because I was here during this time, I was able to experience a new culture, get involved with different activities and traditions that I would have never imagined myself doing. The journey continued to various other places around Asia. I spent a few days in Manila exploring the streets, meeting other vloggers, and learning a little bit about the history. I made my way over to Taipei in Taiwan to try some of the local street food, experience the nightlife, and also feed a lot of cats in a random village in the mountains. After being in Taiwan, I packed up and headed to Bangkok for a few days, and I was also able to work on a last-minute collaboration with a beautiful restaurant on the riverfront. And this brings me on to the next lesson that I learned during my travels. Get comfortable at being uncomfortable. I made it to Mumbai in the 40-degree heat and spent 4 days exploring this city, mainly on foot. I tried lots of new foods and spent a lot of time interacting with all the locals. I couldn't begin to think of what it would be like to travel solo in India. When I went to Asia, I didn't actually plan on travelling here, but I realised the power of getting out of my comfort zone and just allowing myself to experience new places. From here, I continued my journey around India and I went to Goa, and I spent a few days there relaxing before I headed to one of the most populated cities in the world, Delhi.
I don't know how anyone is supposed to cross this road.
The experience of heading out at 6 AM and seeing the traffic being busier than rush hour in London was a complete shock at first. But while I was walking around and being fully immersed in the different places, I could truly experience life from a different point of view. Delhi was by far the most interesting, chaotic, but beautiful experience that I ever had. Oh, and not to mention being able to go and see the Taj Mahal along the way as well. But then it was finally time for me to leave India and head to my final stop in Asia for the year. That I started to find my purpose. I arrived in Kathmandu in Nepal, and I didn't realise how much I would actually enjoy this city. They say that the people make a place, and this really was the case for Kathmandu. Their hospitality and kindness towards strangers showed me the power of positivity. I learned a lot of lessons being in Nepal. It was like an awakening in a sense. Everything from the hospitality and kindness of the people to the overall atmosphere when you're walking around led me to feel this uplifted feeling and somehow more in tune with life. It was something you have to experience to fully understand. This brings me to when I returned back to the UK, and I did manage to squeeze one last trip into Lanzarote with my dad. I did another hotel collaboration and got to watch one of the most amazing sunsets. Now we're at the end of the year, where I'm learning more than ever before, keeping healthy, reading books, and just working on bringing something new into 2024. My aim is to inspire other people to follow their dreams and take new opportunities. I'm wishing you all an amazing start to 2024, and remember, keep taking those steps towards the life that you really want.